While GDP is a backward-looking indicator of the economy's health, Jerome Powell has stated that the Federal Reserve Board will be sifting through the incoming data for clear, hard evidence that an economic slowdown is actually happening before considering any action to cut interest rates further. Let's listen to a recent video of Mr. Powell's speech on Wednesday of last week, reiterating that point.
Turning briefly to the incoming data, we'll get the initial reading on first quarter GDP in a couple of weeks. The data we have in hand so far suggests that growth has slowed in the first quarter of this year from last year's solid pace. Despite strong motor vehicle sales, overall consumer spending appears to have grown modestly. In addition, strong imports during the first quarter, reflecting attempts by businesses to get ahead of potential tariffs, are expected to weigh on GDP growth.
In other words, forward-looking survey data such as the weakening consumer confidence trends from the University of Michigan's Survey of Consumers and the falling manufacturing sentiment that we've been seeing from the Institute for Supply Management are not enough for the Federal Reserve to act. The Fed has remained neutral with respect to further interest rate cuts, even as the incoming data evidenced economic worries from President Trump's tariff agenda. Have another listen to Mr. Powell's recent speech on this topic and take note of the economic trends that the Fed is seeing and paying attention to in what he terms outside forecasts. This becomes critical in understanding what happened in the first quarter of 2025.
Surveys of households and businesses report a sharp decline in sentiment and elevated uncertainty about the outlook, largely reflecting trade policy concerns. Outside forecasts for the full year are coming down, and for the most part, point to continued slowing, but still positive growth. We are closely tracking incoming data as households and businesses continue to digest these developments.
For a detailed breakdown, watch the full video on my channel.